not been done. Some of the things that were promised to be done are still maybe at the level of principle. For example, the issue of state policing, there is no bill now at National Assembly to the effect that we are going to be debating on state policing and all those stuff like that. Then I remember we also canvassed that, look, when you are fighting against terrorism, you don't fight from the like as if you are cutting the tree from the branches. You go to the roots. And when I talk about the roots, I'm talking of the protagonists and the sponsors of terrorism in Nigeria. For now, I have not seen Mr. President going all out against sponsors of terrorism. They have strategic planning base, they have strategic planning personnel, they have strategic planning instrumentality that helps them. I think if the DSS can help Mr. President, and Mr. President can also give the military that 100% go ahead, what I expect is a holistic pursuit of those that are actually feeding the cancer of terrorism. And I'm talking about the sponsors. Terrorism financing is a big thing. Once you are able to break through in the area of terrorism financing, I can assure you that you would have succeeded in winning the war against terrorism like an 80 to 90%, because terrorism will strive on financing. So who are those that are sympathetic to the cause of terrorism in Nigeria? There are some of them that we even hear them very loud and clear in Nigeria, and shamefully too, we also have them having a very big media platform to advocate the cost of terrorists and terrorism in this country, openly defending terrorists in this country. Mr. President has not been able to come all out to say enough is enough. Then those people who surreptitiously have been funding the act of terrorism, to what extent has DSS been able to identify them, have a dossier on them, place it on Mr. President's table, and ask all, demand that all of them should be arrested and prosecuted? Now, if this is done, whether they are sponsors at local level or they are sponsors at international level or they are interconnected, if government is able to identify this very root cause of terrorism, whether they are multinationals, whether they are international governments, or they are fraudulent businessmen, or they are religious bigots, at whatever level and irrespective of the excuses, whether it is terrorism as a result of a religious conviction, or terrorism for political, economic, or social conviction. Now, terrorism is terrorism. To what extent has the government been able to go to the roots? And that is what I am actually concerned about now. I'm not concerned about these bandits, and these bandits are foot soldiers. If their political structure, if their political, how would I put it, their political backing is crumbled, I can assure you that they will definitely fall out. But for now, I've not seen it. And I think that is why you see that some of them are springing up to say that no matter what you say, we are here. Who are those that are sympathetic to the cause of these terrorists in government and out of government, in Nigeria and outside Nigeria?
All right. I'll come back to you, Dr. Ofoyetan. Let me get Ms. Aladede's perspective on this very crucial conversation. Is it really a tall order for you to evaluate the effectiveness of this administration's efforts at tackling insecurity? Also, his biggest concern is for us to adequately or intentionally expose terrorism finance here. Is it rocket science?
Rocket science may not be the actual word, and listening to experts like him, it tells you that there is really more. It takes a whole lot of, not just political will, it will take a whole lot of calculated decision for you to expose such persons. But having said that, I think what it is, evaluating this administration or evaluating government, because I try to shy away from evaluating administration per administration. What is important is the Constitution, and the Constitution is that the welfare and the security of the people shall be the primary concern of the government. So having said that, I think, literally speaking, we're beginning to look at the need to sustain the fight against terrorism, the need to sustain the onslaught against terrorism as it is, because a lot of people will want to pick at it that, oh, why is it always escalated when it's close to election and the rest, and people are reading, different meanings to it. But I think what is key here is that whether election year or eve of election year or election year, what is so important is that Nigerians deserve to be protected, and these daredevils need to be, taken to their roots. So for me, I believe that the work is being sustained. The government has done, on the average, I think they've done well. But whatever it is, what people want to ask is that just today, some people were killed in your state. Yesterday, some people were killed. So those are the things people want to look at. So we want to sleep with our two eyes closed. And this means that we must tell the government whatever good they've done in the past, that the current situation is what they will be adjudged at and they will be assessed at. That's one of the reasons why government should spare no one in dealing with this issue. So if it's going into the pragmatic solution of exposing the financiers, because I want to believe that the people in power will have intels on who these people are or who some of these people are. But what may not be clear to us is why they keep those things to their chest.
But having said that, Mr. Ladende, how do you evaluate statements that suggest that Nigeria may be winning this war tactically, but losing strategically rather?
You see, irrespective of the use of word, like I want to say, tactically, yes, it's obvious that the terrorists are probably pushing their last, push to make sure that they say that, oh, we are not going to lose this war. But for us, strategically and tactically, I think the two, for me, the government is aware of these two approaches and they are taking it head on. But tactically, I want to believe that with the overhaul or the reshufflement among the security chiefs, I think that's a strategic move, which I think is already sending signal that this government is not ready to romance terrorists in any shape or form, be it banditry, be it ideological war, whatever it is. This government is simply saying that as long as you are carrying weapons illegally, you need to be tracked down and you need to be dealt with.
All right, Dr. Ofoyeton, let me come back to you from the expert's perspective. Earlier I talked about the 2026 budget. Again, Nigerians will stop talking about how billions are budgeted for security every year. I mean, for this year, for instance, defense and security got 5.41 trillion naira. But why do criminals still seem better equipped? Is procurement transparent and needs-based or influenced by vested interest? You hear Nigerians asking, are we buying the right tools or the most politically convenient ones? Who audits security technology spending?
Well, 5.41 trillion naira, if converted to dollars, is nothing. So let's settle that first. Okay. It's not up to the security budget of a state like Texas in the U.S. Just one state. But that is not a foreclosure to the fact that it's a huge money at local level, and we expect to get results. For the fact that we are not getting desired results, and that is why you see we asking questions. Are the bandits and the terrorists rather better equipped? The answer is no. Now, why are we still having this pocket of bandits operating here and there? There are a lot of factors. One of such is the insider compromises and insider threats. We have a lot of moles in security agencies across board, all security agencies. The way terrorists operate is to first of all infiltrate all security agencies at all cadre. And so they have first-hand information. And I'm sure you would have heard severally about ambushment. You would have also heard about field operation. You would have also heard about operation where intelligence has been established and the operatives were supposed to launch, and as at the time they got there, the terrorists are relocated from that same place. That's to tell you that information or intelligence are always breached. So if they are always breached, you'd expect that you will have the similitude of all these things we're talking about. So what I expect the military to do is one of the things I've advocated 1,001 times on this platform and on several other platforms, is let them do personnel audits. Let them identify those among them who are compromised. And as much as possible, let them put up a strategy that is watertight in terms of security, especially when it comes to operations. So the issue of how much has been spent on security and whether we are getting the results, like the other guest said, the truth is that whether we like it or not, we cannot say that the military and security agencies are not working. If they are not working, you and I will not even be having this conversation in the first instance, because by now the terrorists would have taken over the government. If you look at what happened, 7 years ago, when it was more or less like the reign of terror in this country. At the time, we were petrified because I remember that at the time they were moving very close in Abuja until the security agencies had to sit up and all those. But today, you are talking about attacks from outskirts. You are talking of attacks basically from ungoverned spaces. So that now brings government to the issue of whatever money you have now, you should be able to deploy it, especially in the purchase of technology. I think that is one area I expect that, because the Niger State, you give example, the landmark of Niger State is almost the landmark of southwestern Nigeria. So, and that's just one state. So if you look at Niger State, you will understand why terrorism is thriving there. The level of ungoverned space there is enormous, is extremely large. And the best way the government can attend to that is through what? Technology. So let them look at the possibility of, and I'm not talking of, right, child play technology. I'm talking of technology that, drones, assault drones and the like, are things that they should consider, so some of these are areas that...
All right, Dr. Foyaton, please let me put you on hold. Dr. Foyaton, let me continue from where we stopped before we went on that break, because in 2025 we saw several military operations. The most prominent is the U.S. airstrikes on some terrorist enclaves in Sokoto State. And you begin to ask yourself, is this what we've ever wanted as a nation? Because for a while we've asked ourselves, if it was high time we asked for foreign support. Is this what we've just seen?
Well, America's airstrike is not it's not something that Nigeria actually solicited for. So it's going to be on a different terms and condition. America came on its own, and I mean it, America came on its own. Even though Nigeria, as it is now, is not a participatory force, the last attack, Nigeria also considered to the fact that they were part and parcel of such attack. It's a different ball game if the attack were initially, and the assistance were initially originated and initiated by the president. So as it is now, the president or the government of Nigeria may not be in that absolute control in terms of, maybe the operational methodology and all those stuff. But having said so, I think it is also good that the security agencies and the government have been able to come to the level of also drawing the line so that the U.S. government does not, go beyond that. And that is why you see that for now, you're only talking about aerial assault. We expect the military to do the groundwork, which actually is the major work. Once the assault has been done, the aerial assault has been done, where we do not have that military air power, we have that assistance from the U.S. what we expect is that the security agencies should follow up. The pocket of attack we have here and there, as bad as it is for now, may not be a major cause of concern for me or major cause of agitation for me, because I expect that when you cut a snake into two, there should be some level of reaction from the snake before it is, confirmed totally dead. So I see that for now. I know very well that at a time, though the last year assault, the military, they did a lot of work. The Air Force did a lot of work. And for now, the terrorists are actually finding it very difficult. But they've been able to, over the years, penetrate our villages, penetrate our cities, and they have divided themselves into several hundreds of, if not thousands of cell groups all over the Federal Republic of Nigeria. There is no state as we speak today that does not have cell group of different terrorist orientations. The only thing is that for now, some commands are quiet now, waiting and seeing what will happen to other commands. Some other operatives are busy doing either Okada business, are doing some other petty business until they have a proper command to ask them to operate or to ask them to attack as it is. So that is where DSS would have to come in, because we have a lot of foot soldiers already in villages, in hamlets, that are intermingling with the people under whatever guise. Some of them, they seem innocent, they may look okay and all those stuff like. And there are things that are easily verifiable. But except for the fact that many a times we pretend that these things don't exist. We pretend either because of ethnicity or because of religious bigotry or because of our political divides and affiliations. We pretend as if they don't exist until, like what you have in Lakorawa in Sokoto State. They did not just come overnight to Sokoto to attack. They've been there for more than 5 years. The community people have accommodated them under the religious affinity and the like, and they were even seen at times as even helping them until, the snake is now grown to be able to bite and bring out venom. That was what, and that is what is happening. If you come to Ogun State here, if you go to, some areas in Delta State, if you go to, even Lagos State, you will see some of these people that ride bike and the like. Some of them are Nigerians, some of them are not Nigerian. They don't have home, they don't have wife, they don't have family, they have nothing, absolutely nothing. They make a lot of money in a day, yet they are still unkept. They sleep in uncompleted buildings. They sleep on their bike. They sleep in worship center. They don't have any form of identity. Now, you may say that they are doing their businesses and all those stuff like that. What we expect is proper profiling. Because these are, some of them can also be veritable foot soldiers. The foot soldiers we are talking about, when it happens, it's not going to jump from heaven. They are not going to come overnight. You are talking about attack in the Southwest here now. Good enough that Southwest is proactive enough to also have a platform like Amotekun to be able to react. But to what extent is Amotekun armed? So these are areas that the government should be intentional. Intentionality is what the present government will really need to be able to solve this security quagmire. If not so, we see ourselves, those of us that are privileged to be on programs like this, we see ourselves at times even becoming a broken record. We see ourselves repeating ourselves severally. Some of the solutions, you ask yourself if they are actually listening, because some of these solutions are not rocket science. They are things that are, anybody can give some of these solutions, and we all know that they are workable solutions. Why is the government not applying some of these solutions? Becomes it becomes very worrisome to some of us, because there are little things that government can do. Now you talk about, you are talking about 5.41 trillion naira for the purpose of security in this country. Now that money is going to be divided across board, across all security agencies and the like. I expect that government should give a national security checklist to all of them. These are the checklists for each of your agencies. Mark it on daily basis what you have achieved. Now, what do you want to purchase? Let us have what you actually want to purchase. Let those that are in procurement, let them do the actual purchase. But before the purchase of technology, let government ensure that the technology that will have to be purchased, they must know how to use that technology. They must also know how to troubleshoot on that technology. A technology that is tied to the apron string of the manufacturer, government should avoid it. Such technology that without you renewing the license, you cannot use it in your country, and the license software is in the hand of the manufacturer, and it determines when you use it and when you don't use it, and all those babadash. As far as I'm concerned, government should avoid such technology in its entirety. Use technology that you know you have absolute power over, and you have absolute control over, and you can maneuver that technology. You know it very well. You have personnel that can operate it. You have personnel that can troubleshoot, that even if there is a crisis, they know how to maneuver themselves out of such crisis. Not technology that you have to be calling Germany or calling Japan or calling China before you solve it. Now, if you buy those type of technology, they will end up becoming, trash at the end of the day.
All right.
Because if the people don't know how to operate it here and they leave it, will you blame them for such?
All right. Thank you, Doctor, for your time. I'll come back to you. Mr. Aladede, he talked about proper profiling, and that reminded me of something the Defense Minister, Christopher Musa, says before we ended the year. It was talking about the need for a comprehensive database in this country. How bad is it that you and I cannot really tell who a Nigerian is?
How bad it is? I think this is time to be more intentional. This is time to be more deliberate. I believe that Nigeria has what it takes to do the proper thing. And the proper thing when it comes to profiling is something that we can even declare, we are very good at declaring public holidays. We can even declare, 3 days. Let us profile ourselves. Anyone that has not done his data capturing, that has not done whatever it needs to do, must be done. People should not just be entering any state
I do
without
apologize.
a
What
particular...
more do we need to do? We have NIN, we have BVN,
Exactly.
we have...
Do everybody have it? Do you understand how important is this identity for you to even move? Do you understand? For example, in America, you need to be, you are already profiled. People will know that you are an immigrant. People will know that you are a holiday, fund seeker. People will know whatever you are. As you are entering a bus, you carry your identity with you. So this identity shouldn't be when we want to do some transactions and want to do some stuff. It must be part of you because it's data driven. So even if you have misplaced it, you can tell us what your number is and they will know that you're a Nigerian or you're not a Nigerian. They can know the state you are from and not the state you're not from. We see movement every now and then without any profiling. We can't even give data of how many people come into particular state.
What is the challenge? Is it funding?
No. I think that's what I mean by intentionality. If we want to declare this war to make sure that people comply to whatever laws we set, trust me, it can be done. Just like what we are seeing with the issue of tax now. They are simply telling us that the tax net will be extended to everybody. So when you don't need to pay tax, we will know that you're exempted. When you need to pay tax, you will pay. The same, if not greater attention should be given to security. So that we don't just, because the way it is, there can be unnecessary suspicion. Immediately you see somebody from a particular ethnic group inside the bus, you can say that, bandits have infiltrated. It may not be the case. So instead of developing these serious doubts among ourselves, let us do the proper thing. If you're a bandit, if you're a terrorist, let us treat you as one. Whichever tribe, whichever place you come from, a criminal is a criminal. So I'm challenging the government now that they should make it a top priority to see that we don't live in suspicion. We don't, label a particular tribe as bandits, a particular ethnic group as bandits. Let us be scientific about it. Let us be empirical about it. And know that if I'm relating with you, I know you have a background, I know you have a family, I know the state you come from. We can quickly communicate to to anyone when you are displaying some kind of untoward attitude or some kind of untoward character. So I believe strongly that whatever the situation is, they say desperate situation demands desperate solution. So let's be desperate about the solution. Let's ensure this is not just about protecting the Southwest, it's about protecting Nigeria at large.
And absolutely, it's sad that Dr. Ofoyeton thinks it now sounds like a broken record. But the truth is, this is a conversation we must continue to have.
He still has faith in Nigeria for him to come. He still has faith that they will do the right thing. And that's, one of the things we can use to encourage him is to let him know that platform like this, there is a very, very possibility that action will be taken. So we must encourage someone like him to know that, hey, irrespective of what you're saying, he might do a bit of reflection and see, maybe it's 20% of everything he has been saying. Some actions have been taken, and I believe that actions will be taken this particular time.
Dr. Ofoyeton, I see you smiling. It means you agree with Mr. Ladende.
Yes, I agree with him, of course. I'm hopeful.
All right. Now,
I'm keeping hope alive. But in fairness, in fairness to the government, the issue of state policing, I'm happy that it's been agreed in principle. The issue of having to clear the forest was one of my major advocacy in this country, that the forest should be cleared off. The only thing is the approach the government is applying. I don't think it will work. And I'm not apologetic about it.
Which is what Dr. Ofoyeton?
For now, they are talking about, using the forest guards. The forest guard are new. I expect the forest guard to just play a support and a lead role in terms of being a pointer because they understand the forest very well. But in terms of assault, I expect the government to actually do is to, have, a specific coordinated task force for that purpose. And the operation should be coordinated within a period of time simultaneously. The 6 geopolitical zones, all the forest, I call it geocombing. And when I say geocombing, what I'm trying to say is this. We have 6 geopolitical zones, have a special squad for each of those zones, and let every of those zones operate on the same day within the same time, so that the bandit or the terrorists in the northeast are not going to move to the northwest. Those in the northwest are not going to move to the southwest. Simultaneously well coordinated, and it must be well funded. It must be a specific operation, to the extent that it is after that military operation and military assault has been done on all the forests. As big as the country is, it's a major program, it's a major operation. As big as it, once it is done, the forest guard takes over. Now, at that point in time, you now have government taking over all the ungoverned spaces. We have a lot of ungoverned spaces in this country. And these are places that you now have the bandits trying to bring up their own kingdom, their own government, even having the impetus to even fly their own flag, have the impetus to even talk about collecting taxes from locals before they go to market and before they harvest their produce and all those stuff like that. No, so government, it must be an intentional operation. Take over all the ungoverned spaces, take over all the mining sites. Mining site as we speak today, if government did not take over the mining sites in Zamfara, in Kaduna, in Oyo State, in Plateau State, if government did not take over all those mining sites, government will still keep having problem with the issue of terrorism in this country, because when you talk about mining, you are talking about the life sustenance of some countries outside Nigeria. This is where they get the major raw material. So if you are talking about those natural resources you have, Nigeria has 23 solid mineral resources at commercial quantity. To what extent is Nigeria able to guard it? If you are not guarding it, foreigners will equip your own citizens and neighboring countries to fight themselves. All they need is just a free passage. That's all. That's all they need, just a free passage in and out. Look at what is happening in Democratic Republic of Congo. Look at what is happening in the mining sites in South Africa. Thank God that South Africa have been able to take over its own, to a very large extent. If those things are not going to repeat itself in Nigeria, the government knows very well that when it comes to natural resources, it's blood. What is happening in the Niger Delta? Look at what happened over the years We are still crying over some blood that have been spilled in Nigeria Delta. It's a universal thing. It's not a Nigerian thing. Any country that is blessed with mineral resources, if they do not take absolute, and I repeat, absolute charge, do you keep having blood spilling? It's not a prophecy of doom. It's a truism. So if government is intentional about fighting against terrorism, then they must begin to think about our mining laws in this country. The possession, government should now take over all the mining sites, be in charge of it, be in charge of the security. You have some national, I just don't want to mention some countries where even they will go to the police and get police escort in and out and mine our mineral resources, mine and take them out illegally. And these are some of the things that are causing crisis, especially in a state like Zamfara, as we speak today. So if you are talking about it, terrorism is so broad. It has its religious angle. It has its ethnic angle. It has its economic angle. And all these things are interwoven. America coming to say that we are coming to help Nigeria and all those stuff like that, and using Christianity as a cover and all those. It also has its own economic implication. One missile costs millions of dollars. Who is going to pay for it? America is not Father Christmas. Donald Trump is not Father Christmas. In short, he's a core businessman. Everything he does has its own business intonation. So, but to what extent is this our own government, my own government, intentional about the fight against terrorism? 80% of the solution is from domestic. We know the solution. We know what to do. Whether we are ready to do is another thing. All the military generals, retired or serving, that are participants, criminals in the act of illegal mining, government should be intentional about it. Arrest all of them, prosecute all of them. Those that ought to be jailed, jail them.
All right.
These are things I expect that now government will be doing. Then we know that government is serious.
All right, Dr. Ofoyeta, one more issue. I guess you've spoken about mining, you've spoken about state police and forest guard. The federal government also took a decision on open grazing. According to the report we have, the federal government says it has not banned open grazing, but it's transitioning to national ranching. One question I would like to ask you is, doesn't this create policy confusion for states, security agencies, and herders?
The government is just trying to play politics because the government assume or believe that maybe the group of people that are into cattle grazing and the like, they may not want to vote for him. So he has to, be diplomatic about it. If you want to ban cattle, open grazing, ban it. If you don't want to ban it, leave it. Because as we speak today, even in Abuja, I've been to Abuja severally, and even close to Aso Rock, you will be seeing cow in the city of Abuja, major city where there are no grass. It's even a national embarrassment, for goodness sake. And we are still being pretentious about it. We are still playing politics with some of these things. Why? Because some of the cattle rearers are either military generals, top security functionaries, top politicians and the like, that will just use one small boy to be using the cow to roam up and down, and presidency feels that we don't want to offend some of these people, so let us be diplomatic about it. If the government of President Tinubu wants to actually make the type of progress we expect in security, he must be intentional about certain policies, irrespective of whose all is God. If not so, we keep failing.
Mr. Aladede, it looks like you have an opinion about it.
It's a tough one. It's a tough one. Just to quickly add that, this president has been given these medals of taking tough decisions. And this is probably another one that he needs to also do. Because sometimes when he takes his decision, for example, the subsidy removal, people say that was a political suicide. But time has proven that it was not a bad decision. The issue of tax law, some are still struggling and believing that is another political suicide, but time has proven that it is about the next generation and not about the next election. So for me, without mincing words, it needs to also do this so that it is not really about touching the sensibility of some people.
So it needs to be banned outrightly.
Yes, I believe so. But whatever must have informed him saying that it is gradual, probably we need to follow him through. But then the way out is outright ban. Let people get ready, because that's another thing. People will say, let us prepare for the alternative before we ban the other one. So let's have the ranching built around every state. Let governors also buy into this, because I've had situations where the conditions given for the ranching is quite steep for some people to move. But the way forward is to ban it and let there be a solution.
All right, Dr. Ofoyetan, in the year 2025, I want us to talk about kidnapping for ransom. You know, that activity remained one of the most profitable criminal enterprises in Nigeria. And this is a new year. We've seen the president's level of commitment to ending this cancer. How do we break the financial networks that sustain banditry and kidnapping for ransom?
It's not difficult if the government actually want to do it. All you need to do is trace the fund. Whatever it costs you, if 100 million ransom was paid and you need 300 million to be able to trace it, spend the 300 million. Now it becomes a major deterrent. The use of technology should not be jettisoned. Those in the DSS should be more hardworking. Because many a times, maybe because it's not the son of a politician, it's not the son of one big man, you will not bring out all your machineries. DSS, NSA, they have every tracking device you can think of under the earth, except the one that has not been manufactured. They have it. They know how to trace whosoever they want to trace in this country. So if kidnappers use telephone to be able to ask for ransom, and they are also, bold enough to go on TikTok and go on social media to also do what? To also showcase their loot at the end of the day. For goodness sake, we plead with the government, bring out every technology you have. Even if it's for the poorest Nigerian, let Nigerians know that their life is valued. Right. If government spend that type of money to bring out that one person, and kidnappers are aware, I can assure you that kidnapping will go down drastically. Right, the government are taking the good step by saying that they are now terrorists. But kidnapping are of different level. You have kidnapping for ritual, kidnapping for political gain, kidnapping for negotiation, and you also have kidnapping for ransom. Then you also have those kidnapping for ritual. You have the herbalists themselves that will ask those people,
Sadly, we're out of time, but I appreciate your passion every time we talk about the need to secure this nation and flush out every criminal element. Thank you so much for speaking with me again tonight. Dr. Foni Oteyetan is the DG International Institute of Professional Security. Also in the studio is Kaya Delade, the TVC News editor. Thank you so much for your insight. Thank you so much, gentlemen. Please have a great evening.
Thank
you very much.
And you too. Good night. Yeah.
All right. And thank you for watching, everyone. That marks the end of today's episode of Politics Tonight. But before we go, let's tell you that the views and reactions of our resource persons are theirs and have no connection with TVC News. Meanwhile, you can watch the repeat broadcast of this episode at 12:30 a.m. Get in touch with us on our social media handles, Facebook, Instagram, and X at TVC News NG and at Olajumoke using the hashtag Politics Tonight. We're also on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News NG. I am Olajumoke Olatunji. Good night, everyone. I'll see you again tomorrow.